Hi, it's Rachel here from Off.road.cc, and today we're taking a look at a brand new bike. So today Specialized launched their 2020 Rockhopper. Now, a Rockhopper is a bike that will have seen lots of riders get into cycling. It's got a history that spans nearly 4 decades, and it will have been a load of riders' first port of call for their first mountain bike. I know when I started out cycling, I definitely looked at one of these when I was getting into the sport. So for 2020, Specialized are basically merging 2 of their models. So you had the Pitch, which was a real budget bike, and the Rockhopper, which is still in their budget range, but a slightly higher price, so maybe £700 to £1,000. Those 2 models are converging into one bike. So now you'll get a lot more choices across the Rockhopper range, with the Pitch becoming obsolete. Rockhopper prices now start at £349 and go all the way up to just under 900 quid. So let's start with the range. What's new about this bike? Slightly different geometry. You've got internal cable routing. You've got lots more sizes across the range, so from extra small to extra large, and there's size specific wheels. So other brands do this as well. Trek's one of them. On the smaller bikes you'll get 27.5-inch wheels, and in fact on this bike the extra small gets 26-inch wheels, which makes me think that's for children or really small riders. Then from large onwards you get 29er wheels. There's a load of different specs, and those wheel choices with regards to the sizing continues across the whole range. So because I'm not a machine and I seem to have a memory of a sieve, to tell you about the specs and the spec choices, I'm going to have my notes to hand. So Rockhopper starts at $379, and for that, that's just called a plain Rockhopper. You get a 2x8 speed drivetrain and a Suntour fork. Moving on, you've got the Rockhopper Sport, which is still a 2x. That's 449 quid, and you get a 2x9 drivetrain and Suntour XCM fork. Then there's the Rockhopper Comp 2x, which is 549. It's again 2x9 speed, still Shimano, and still with that Suntour XCM fork. But for your money, you get a bit better Shimano kit, so you get a mix of a Sarah Olivio and Altus kit, and there's slightly better brakes. So on the Rockhopper Sport, which was 449, you've got Tektro hydraulic discs, and then the 549 bike, the Rockhopper Comp 2, gets Shimano MT200 brakes. Then you've got the next price level is 699, which is the Rockhopper Elite. That's your first bike which comes with a 1x drivetrain. So it's a 1x10 and it gets the same MT200 brakes as on the previous bike, but that bike also gets the RockShox Judy Solo Air fork. Then the bike that we have here is the Rockhopper Expert. So this bike's $899. It's the only bike that's 1x12, so that uses SRAM's 1x12 Eagle drivetrain. Gets the same brakes as the previous bike and the same RockShox Judy TK fork. So all those bikes and all those specs come with the same frame, and that frame gets internal routing. There's routing for a stealth dropper post, and also it gets rack mounts and a stand mount, which is nicely concealed, so if you don't want to use them they're not obvious, but if you do, they're there. Geometry wise, it's the same across the board. So you have got, just give you 3 key numbers, 68.5 degree head angle, so it's a little bit slacker than the previous Rockhopper. It's got a 73.5 degree seat angle, or effective seat angle, which is the same as the previous Rockhopper. And then the reach, for example, on this large model is 445 millimeters. I've weighed this bike too, so for this large model in the Expert spec, it comes in at 29.5 pounds, which is 13.4 kilos, and I didn't think that that was too bad considering it's just a pound up under 900 quid. If we're going to talk through the spec of this bike in more detail, as I said, it gets a SRAM 1x12 speed SX Eagle drivetrain, but I'd definitely go for that 12-speed drivetrain if I have the chance, just to give you that extra winching capability, and I think that it's something that new riders are definitely going to benefit from. There's Shimano MT200 brakes, and then, as we've talked about already, that RockShox Judy TK fork. So the TK on the Judy fork stands for turnkey, which is basically a lockout switch on the top of the fork. You also get some rebound damping adjustment, and this fork has got an air spring, so it's got a solo air spring. Elsewhere, you get Specialized Stout finishing kit. So there's Stout wheel set with Shimano hubs, and that's 25mm internal wheel set, but they're tubeless ready, and they come with 2 Specialized ground control 2.3-inch tyres. The eagle-eyed among you might have noticed one thing that I haven't mentioned, which is that this is QR front and rear. That QR used to just be available on the RockShox 30 fork, but that fork is being discontinued and it's being combined with the Judy range. So this Judy is a 30mm stanchion fork, as it is across the range, and as the RockShox 30 was, but with the option of a QR. Now, I asked Georgia at Specialized why that was the case, because there's bikes that we've reviewed, hardtails under £1,000, that come with bolt-through axles, front and rear. And Georgia said that they think that a QR axle is easier for newer riders and newer people to the sport to understand. They say it's easier for people to get their wheels on and off, in and out of cars, and that it's easier for riders buying this bike to get replacement parts at a cheaper cost, which does sound fair to me. What it does mean though is if you want to upgrade this bike, if you want to upgrade the wheels, you might struggle to get as good a wheel set as you might want to upgrade because you have to stick to a QR. And if you want to upgrade the fork, then you're going to have to change wheels as well. So that means that potentially this bike is made for staying as it is and keeping it around the £900 budget bike kit, if you get what I mean. And if you wanted to upgrade, I suspect that Specialized's thinking is that you'll go to their Fuse bike. So we've reviewed one of those. The one that we reviewed is about 1,200 quid. It's got a bit more progressive geometry, similar kit, obviously a better fork, and then bolt through front and rear. So it's much more of a trail bike than this cross-country orientated and sort of commuter budget bike for newer riders. And I guess that just about hits the nail on the head for this bike. It's an easy to understand bike that's at a realistic price, and along with that, you're buying it from a shop, so you get the shop's customer service and ultimately that customer service from Specialized as well. We are going to have a full first look and writing on this on off.road.cc, so head over there if you'd like to take a look at that. For now, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.